Hey guys, it's Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Today we're going to learn how to play More Than Words by Extreme. Now this has got quite a few parts to it, and we're even going to do the extended version, their album version that is, where it has the whole tap-in part at the end. So that will be coming towards the end of the lesson. Just to start out, we're tuned down a half step like the album is. So get your acoustic in that tuning and let's get to work here. We're going to start here. I'm just going to show you the chord shapes real quick. We're going to start with a G chord. Now you're kind of omitting the A string there. Okay, now we're going to go to like basically a G with the B in the bass. So that's just going to put your first finger here at the second fret on the A string, and keep those two fingers here at the third fret on the first and second string. Alright. Then we come to this next chord. Alright, so it's basically a C add 9 chord. We're just same two fingers up top, and then we're going to have the third fret on the fifth string, second fret on the D string. So we have. Now we're going to go to an A minor 7. So that's my first finger at the first fret on the second string and the second fret on the D string here. And then you're going to strum 5 strings, A, the open A all the way across. Now through that he'll add a little melody note. We'll get to that in a second. Just that's going to be a third fret here with your pinky on the high E string, and then let go of that again. So we have this so far. Then we go just to C, so just place your third finger at the third fret there on the fifth string, followed by D. Alright, so we got those chords down. Now let's talk about the picking and how he does it. He kind of works in string groups. He kind of does groups of 4. The melody notes are usually always lying on either the high E string or the B string. So he's going to switch back and forth between those pretty much every other chord. So we're going to start here. You can just start with the low G chord, and then with these, your first, second, and third finger hit the G, B, and E strings, and then you're going to come down with your palm and on the strings with a big slap. Alright, so you're going to be doing that the entire time, so get used to it. So now we're going to go to putting the second chord there, and you're going to strum the 4, not strum, you're going to basically pick the 4 middle strings. So the thumb's got the 5th string, and then those 3 fingers get the D, G, and B strings. And then go over to the top 4 strings and do the same picking style. So we're it. So we're going to do the same thing on this third chord, the C add 9. You can pick the 4 middle and then the 4 top strings. So you hear the melody notes change there. So we have. Alright, now we're going to pick the top 4 strings and the middle 4 strings there on the C when we're changing it. So it sounds like this. Alright, now we're going to go to the A7, 4 middle strings, and then the 4 top strings. Then the open A string by itself. Now we're going to add that pinky there on the third fret like we talked about earlier, and you're going to pick the G, B, and E strings with these 3 fingers, and the A string with your thumb. So open A by itself first, then the third fret there on the high E string, and then let go of that note and pick the same notes again. Same strings that is. So we have this. Then we go to that C, pick the 4 middle strings, and then the 4 top strings. Alright, we're going to end it with this D, where you're going to pick basically the D string with your thumb and then your index finger is going to pick the second string, and your middle finger is going to pick the high E string. So there's going to be a little figure that we're going to do there, which is going to be, pick those we just talked about, then the thumb's going to come over and hit the G string, and then you're going to hit those top two notes again. Alright, so then we just repeat. So I'll play through all that really slow. Alright, so you just repeat that. Now that's basically the verse of the song. We get to a pre-chorus then, coming up. So it comes right out of the... right after the D. So the pre-chorus is going to start with an E minor chord. We're going to pick the low E string and the top 3 strings here. Then just the top 4 strings, so that thumb moves over to the D string. Then the 4 middle strings, and then the 4 top strings again. See how that bass line is kind of moving around? Alright, then to that A minor 7. So that's pretty much like it was what we did to the A minor 7 in the verse. Then we go to this D7 chord, which is just your third finger here on the second fret on the high E, first fret here on the B string, and then second fret on the G string with the D string open. Alright, then we're going to go to this little... So that starts with that same G we started the song with. Just pick it twice, the low G string and these top 3 strings. Then you're going to put your thumb at the second fret here on the low E string. And you're going to pick just the D, the low E string, the D, open D string, the G string, and the B string. Then move these fingers over to the top 3 strings. So it sounds like this. And then back to the E minor, the same picking we did on the E minor before. Alright, so that ended the pre-chorus. This takes us right into the chorus. Now this chorus is kind of strange. There's a definitive chorus, and then as it leaves the chorus, it kind of goes into a second chorus, which is longer and kind of more drawn out. So the first one sounds like this. Alright, so we're starting here with that A minor 7th again. Let me just take you through these chords real quick. A minor 7 to that D7. Now we get to a G7. So basically all you have to do is the third finger here at the third fret on the low E string, and then the first finger at the first fret on the high E string. You're going to be picking the G, open G, and open B with it when we get there. Then we get to this. That's kind of the G with the B in the bass, or first inversion, whatever you want to call it, but we're just playing it with your second finger here on the A string and the pinky here on the B string. Then we go to the C. So far we have... take that C to a C minor now, so it's going to be a bar chord at the third fret across 5 strings. the 4th fret with your 2nd finger there on the B string, and then the 5th fret on the G and the D strings. Back to the G. There's a little bass line in there we'll talk about, and then we're just kind of just messing around with that. We'll get there, and then we have the A minor 7 and then D7 to end it. All right, so let's start with this A minor 7 here. Just like the picking in the verse on the A minor 7. Then that D7 3 times. Then we're going to go to this G7. So I'm picking the 6th string and the top 3 strings. Then this is the top 3 strings by themselves. Alright, now to that next chord, that G with the B and the bass. Thumb on the 5th string. Then the other 3 strings, the D, G, and B strings after that with your index, middle, and ring finger. Then to a C major chord. You're going to pick first the thumb on the 5th string with the top 3 strings, then the middle 4. And you do that twice. And I hit the C by itself once in between them. So just so you can hear it in context. Alright, now switch that C minor bar chord. You're going to hit the 4 middle strings, then the top 3, then the 5th string by itself. Now you're going to pick the 5th string with the top 3 strings, then the 4 middle strings. So listen to that kind of melody line go. It helps you memorize it easier. So. Alright, now we're going to get to this G chord. G chord is going to be the lowest 6th string here both times, but you're going to pick the D, G, and B string first. I'm sorry, you're going to pick that 6th string with it, and then the top 4 strings. So we have this. Alright, now we have this little bass line. It sounds like this. So that's just 3, and then we have the top 3 strings with the low 6th string there. Then still the low 6th string, and we're going to hit the D, G, and B strings. Then the 2nd fret on the low E, and then when we get to the open E, you can just hit the top 2 strings with it. Then 2nd fret on the A with those same top 2 notes. 2nd fret on the D, 2nd fret on the A. So we have. Now I was kind of killing the notes in between it just to get some separation in the chord. So. And then just end it with a strum with the A minor 7 and to the D7. Alright, now we get to this extended kind of chorus. Sounds like this. So yeah, it kind of moves, it kind of repeats the same thing twice. So we're going to start here with sounds kind of like the beginning of the verse. Just that G. So these, the 6th string with the D, G, and B strings, and then we have the top 4 strings. Then the 2nd chord in the verse with the 4 middle strings and the top 4 strings. And just repeat that twice. Now we're going to set up for the next part by hitting a low E string open. And we're going to hold this chord, which is, we've seen earlier, which is just 2nd fret on the 6th string, 2nd fret on the G, 3rd fret on the B. So you pick these 4 strings, the open D, G, and the B string with the low 6th string, then the top 3 strings with the low 6th string. And just rotate back and forth between those. Alright, so he's rotated twice. To the E minor now, low E string, the top 2 strings, and then the 5th string with the B and G string. Now I'm going to hold a B minor chord, just like that C minor chord, just 1 fret lower. And we're going to play the A string and the B string together first, then the thumb on the D string, and then the top 3 strings. So all together coming into that, it sounds like this. Alright, then it takes us to that C. You're kind of going to hang out on the C a little bit, which you're going to do a combination of just the 4 middle strings, and then the 5th string on the bass, but the top 3 strings with it. So it goes. Alright, so just kind of listen to the recording and how many times you... So we have, it goes from that C to just 1 time on this G with the B and the bass, then to the A minor 7, just like in the verse. Then we go to this D, it sounds like this. Alright, so let's just kind of hang out on a D major chord, picking the open D string with the top 2 strings, then the G string with the thumb with the top 2 strings. Kind of rotating back and forth. And then back to that G, just like the beginning of the verse. We'll repeat it twice what we did at the beginning. Back to that part we did earlier. E minor, B minor, C. Now instead of when you go into this D the 2nd time around, you just take that D7 and strum it. And there's usually a little, he'll hit the guitar. That happens a couple times in the song where he's just basically hitting the face of the guitar either twice or 3 times. So then we're going to go back through the verse and the chorus and the pre-chorus and the chorus again. The only differences are every once in a while he will strum some of the chords. We have parts where he'll be like... But it's the same thing in the right hand. You're just going to have to listen for when those come, and you just basically brush with the back of your nails. You just brush the strings. Okay? So coming out of the last time where you're playing basically that verse rhythm at the very end of the song, that's when he starts doing kind of the extended version of the song. I don't know if this part's actually in the radio edit or whatever, but it comes out of the last D chord. Alright, then it gets to that tapping part, which we'll take a look at in a second. So it just starts with a little hammer-on pull-off coming out of that last D from the verse. Open, high E string open, hammer on the 2nd fret, pull off to the open E. Then the open G, and then we really start, that's just kind of started off. And then we start the picking pattern, which is, you can basically hold that G chord we did earlier. And you're going to pick 6th string, 3rd string, 2nd, 3rd, then 1, 2, 3. And then end it with the 6th. So we have that whole picking pattern we're going to do 3 times. So it sounds like this. Then we're going to change chords, which is basically just going to, all you have to do really is move your 2nd finger back to the 2nd fret, this third finger to the second fret on the G string, and then the third fret here on the B string. High E string is going to be open, so we're going to have the same picking pattern on those notes. Now just lower the note on the 6th string down from the 2nd fret to the 1st. It's a pretty nice little phrase. Alright, now we're going to have this it's an E sus4 chord. So it's basically you're going to pick straight across, but the notes are going to be like an E minor chord, but you're going to add the pinky here at the 2nd fret on the G string. So you're going to pick straight across from 6 all the way to the 1st string, then back to the B string and the G. Alright, now we get to the A minor 7th. So that A minor 7th, I just picked from the 5th string all the way to the 1st, and then back down to the 4th. And then I'll let go of that note and hit the open D, which starts the tapping part. So let me play this tapping part for you really quick so you can just get an idea of what we're going to be doing here. This one's kind of hairy. Alright, here we go. Okay, so that's kind of out of nowhere in the middle of the track, or at the end of the track, so it's not part of the radio edit, but sounds difficult. It is kind of fast. The hardest thing is that it is on acoustic and you're tapping. So it's just basically 2 patterns though, so it's pretty easy to break down. It's going to start with an open D, then you're going to hammer on 2, 3, 5 on the high E string. You still let that D ring out. Then you're going to tap at the 17th fret here, and this is where we get to the actual tapping pattern. Now, I have nails because I do a lot of classical guitar, so I have to lay back pretty hard. That's not ideal technique. You want to be able to come straight down. If you don't have nails, obviously you want to be tapping straight down because it's more difficult to do it laid back like this. But the patterns are going to be tap in 17th fret, pull off to the 5th fret, pull off the 3rd, pull off the 2nd, and come hammer back on the way up. That's always in the left hand every time. So you're going to tap 17. Alright, then you're going to tap 15 and do the exact same thing in the left hand. Okay, so that is going on between each one though as we're going down the string. So all we really need to figure out is the notes where we tap, because we know it pulls off to this little phrase down here. So you tap in 17, 15, 17, 15. Back to 17, 15, 14, 15, 14. So we have 17, 15, 17, 15, 14, 15, 14. Alright, then 12, then 10, then 7. So that's 17, 15, 17, 15, 14, 15, 12, 10, 7. Okay? So those are the notes that he does on that one pattern. Okay? Now he changes the pattern to do the little descending across the strings thing. So that's going to be, you're going to still tap the 7th fret again, pull off to the 1st finger here at the 2nd fret, hammer on 5th fret, pull back off to the 2nd fret. Alright, now here's the pattern. You're going to hammer on the 1st note on the next string, which is going to be the 5th fret here on the B string, then tap 7th fret again. You're always going to be tapping across the 7th fret here for the rest of the thing, just across strings. Hammer on that 5th fret, tap 7th, pull off to the 5th, and pull off to the 3rd. So we have, and you're going to continue that by hammering on the 4th fret here on the G string, then hammering the 7th fret, then pulling off those notes. So we have, and then doing the same thing on the D string. So we have, Alright, now we're going to kind of extend it on this very last string. As I did that and pull off down to the first finger, I'm going to go all the way down to the open string and come back up and then back down to the open string. So we have that's on the last note. Then you're going to jump up here and grab your pinky across the 7th fret harmonics across the top 4 strings, and just with the back of your your middle finger, just grab them real quick. Use that last open string to grab those harmonics. Then he bends the neck a little bit, kind of holding the face of the guitar here and bending the neck outward to get some vibrato on those notes. Alright, now we have the very end of the song, and it's a little bit easier, so it sounds like this. Alright, so we're finally coming to the end of this beast. So start with a full G major chord. You're going to pick the thumb 6th, 5th, then the G, B, high E, B, G, then the 5th. So we have this. Alright, now leave this top 2 fingers up there. You're going to put your 2nd finger at the 3rd fret now on the 5th string. Pick the 5th string and 2nd string together, open G, then the top 2 ones, one after the other, high E and B. Remember that picking pattern right here, because we're going to continue that, just lower the note each time, 1 fret on the 5th string. 1 more fret. We're going to end this on that A minor 7th chord. You're going to pick across 5 strings, slide up to the 5th fret on the high E, do a couple of hammer-on pull-offs there, little quick trill, ending it on the 3rd fret, and then strum the G to end the song. Okay, so that whole ending part, you know, it obviously gets quite advanced. It's not required. I mean, it's to really play the song. I mean, I think most people probably know the radio edit, which doesn't have all that stuff at the end. Even though some of those little single pick lines are some of the best parts of the song, but you know, doesn't mean you have to dive into that tapping part to get the whole song down. You can play it just fine and omit it. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoy doing it. It's one of my favorite guitar players, so it's a cool song to do. All right. I'll see you again soon for another song for GuitarLessons365.com. Bye bye.